Okay. So now I was telling you that GST has been implemented with effect from 1st July 2017. What does it mean? Whether there was no indirect tax prior to that date. Will it mean like this? No, it is not like that. In fact, prior to 1st July 2017, in India, we were having 17 type of taxes, indirect taxes, 17, 1 7. In place of all those 17 taxes, government decided to implement only one tax. Be careful. In place of 17 indirect taxes, which were applicable prior to 1st July 2017, Government of India decided to implement in the country only one tax, just like one income tax act in India. You know, in India, throughout the country, income tax act is one. But so far as indirect taxes are concerned, these were 17 taxes, out of which few taxes were levied by the state governments and few taxes were levied by the central government. In India, we have a federal system. State chief ministers are separate. They are king of the states. But central government, prime minister and president of India is separate. So their powers are distributed. There are certain powers with the central government and there are certain powers with the state government. The state governments implements their own laws and central government implements their own law. But the problem was coming to the businessman because there were no same taxation throughout the country. If a businessman wants to conduct a business in one state and he wants to go to another state to run his business, to start a branch over there, or suppose he wants to fix up a factory over there, so then he was to comply with different type of tax as he was complying with in the earlier state. So taxes were different, although names were same, but their rules were different in different states. So businessmen of India as well as businessmen from the foreign country were finding it very difficult to comply with the provisions of the law in different states of the country. Therefore, businessmen of India as well as foreign businessmen were requesting to the government that this is not a proper system. You should have one tax throughout the country. Instead that we should apply for so many taxes, to comply with so many taxes, instead of doing that, we should be able to comply only one tax. We should know what is the tax in one state and what is the tax in the other state. And it should be one tax throughout all the states in the country, just like income tax. So the government, after doing a detailed discussion over a period of 15 years, careful, all the states and center started discussing that why can't we have one tax throughout the country. They went on discussing for 15 years. And after discussion, marathon discussion of 15 years, they reached to a conclusion that from 1st July 2017, we will implement only one tax, which will be called as GST. And we called it as one nation, one tax. One nation, one tax, just like income tax. Now we have in our country from 1st July 2017, one tax, one nation, one tax. And important thing is, We remember, important thing is that this tax is applicable in Jammu and Kashmir also. Jammu and Kashmir state government also implemented this tax. He joined to India. No, we will also be implementing in Jammu and Kashmir also. So now in all these states of the country, one indirect tax is applicable called GST, Goods and Services Tax. Now, we need to know what were those 17 taxes which were used to be in our country prior to 1st July 2017. Because, and why we removed those taxes? What are the shortcomings of those taxes which forced us to implement a single tax in the whole country? So we would like to know what are those 17 taxes and what are their shortcomings we have removed so that a better taxation comes to our country. So I will take you to the back slides, earlier slides, where the names of those taxes have been written. I'm going back. One minute, please.
There seems to be some problem.
So these are the state taxes, 9 taxes which were imposed on goods and services or both earlier in different states. And I have written it as at the top of it, you are reading it, state taxes subsumed. Subsumed means these taxes which were being levied by the state governments have been merged into one GST. These have been included, these have been absorbed, these have been merged in GST from 1st July 2017. But prior to that, these 9 taxes were imposed by different governments of different states. First one is VAT, Value Added Tax. This Value Added Tax Act of different states was different VAT Act. Then Central Sales Tax, it is a tax which was levied by central government but collected by the state government, the state in which the goods are moving. Third is Purchase Tax, means when you used to purchase the goods from one state to the other, at that time this purchase tax was also applicable. It was not applicable in all states, it was applicable only in few states. Then entertainment tax, when you go to see the cinema, on cinema ticket, when you go for cinema, then on cinema ticket entertainment tax is levied. So different state governments were charging different entertainment tax on the tickets. This was called entertainment tax. The luxury tax, this was also a luxury tax, like when you go to stay in a hotel, then in a hotel room, when you pay tax, when you stay and pay the room rent, at that time some luxury tax is also applicable and that tax has also to be paid. Similarly, there was an entry tax. Entry tax is whenever the goods are moving from one state to the other, and when goods were entering into it, then that government used to charge entry tax on these taxes. Then tax on lottery, betting and gambling. In different states, different lotteries schemes were going on, different rates of taxes were there, but this was a tax which was levied on lottery, betting and gambling. Then tax on advertisements, Whatever advertisement activity used to be there, a tax was levied on that also by the state government. And then state cesses and charges. Certain cess and just like surtax, this was charges by the state government, different state government. At different point of time, they used to charge it so that to increase the income of the state for the welfare of the people. Now, so 9 type of state taxes which used to be levied prior to 1st July. But now what happens, you see, in order to comply with all type of taxes, there was a lot of problem. Because when you go to apply for a tax, you need registration. After registration, you need to file the returns. After filing returns, you have to get the assessment done. You have certain inspections from the inspectors. When you seek registration, inspector used to come to your office, look at the premises, make harassment, ask for corruption, and then only registration is granted. So if there will be different taxes, then different inspectors will come, different problems will come, corruption will increase, and all these things will be creating a problem. So meaning thereby, for a businessman, if he is to comply with so many taxes, then his compliance cost will go up. Compliance cost means collecting tax and paying to the government, maintaining accounts and records, filing of returns, paying to the chartered accountants or advocates or the accountants. So this compliance cost will go up if there will be more number of taxes. So that was the reason government wanted that to cut down all these things and to cut down the harassment of the public and the businessman and the business people of the country, as well as of foreign countries who wants to come to India and make investment to develop the Indian territory. For that purpose also, they need to cut down the different taxes so that those people should not feel that it is very difficult to do business in India. Government wanted ease of compliances and ease of doing business in India, so that more and more people from the foreign country can come to India and establish their business to generate employment in the country and to generate wealth for the country. So these are the reasons why all these taxes, these 9 taxes, have been abolished from 1st July 2017, and these have been merged into one tax called GST. Now I'm moving to the next slide. Yes, these are central taxes that have been subsumed. Earlier I talked to the state taxes. Those were the taxes which were levied by the different state governments. But now these are the taxes which used to be levied by the central government. First is central excise duty. The government of India, the central government, used to charge tax on manufacture of the products. Means whenever a businessman wants to establish a factory and to produce anything or to manufacture anything, in that situation, he was supposed to pay the central excise duty whenever his production increases to 1.5 crore. So this was a tax which was levied by the central government. Then is additional duties of excise. Third is also additional duty of excise. Fourth is also additional duty of excise. Fifth is additional duties of customs. You are aware, whenever we import certain goods, the government of India levy tax on that, so that the Indian persons, Indian businessman can compete with those goods. Because if the goods are coming from the foreign country at a cheaper rate, then the Indian businessman will be finished. Therefore, in order to make them competitive, Government of India used to charge certain taxes on that, the goods which have been imported. Those are called custom duties. And apart from custom duty, CVD was also charged, that is called additional duties. Similarly, for state government, this duty was levied by the center, which was called SAD, special additional duty. Then, apart from goods, the central government used to charge service tax also. Service tax. So service tax means it is a tax on services. Suppose I'm a chartered accountant, I'm teaching to you. Suppose I will charge some fees from you or some other client. On that, I have to charge GST at the rate of 18%. Whatever bill I will raise, I will be charging 18% tax on that, and that will be the called of service tax. This used to be in service tax, but after 1st July, now the name called is GST. Now I am charging GST. From 1st July, prior to 1st July, I was charging it as a service tax. And there are surcharges. So these are the 8 type of taxes which used to be charged by the central government. And 9 type of taxes which used to be charged by the state government. So all these 9 taxes and all the earliest 8 taxes of central government, these have been subsumed, these have been merged, this has been included in GST with effect from 1st July 2017. Clear? Okay? Yes. So far we have discussed what are the taxes which were used prior to 1st July 2017. Clear? Ronak, is it okay? Ronak?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's okay?
Yes, sir. The concepts.
Say thumbs
Yes,
up.
sir. It's okay.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Kriti? Kriti, all right?
Yes, sir.
You are getting?
Yes, sir.
Anybody may ask any question till now. If you have not understood anything, let us be clear about it. You got what is indirect tax? Okay.
Sir, the concepts were very clear, sir.
Concepts are clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Ashutosh?
Yes, sir. Concept is clear.
Concept is clear? Should we move further?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, good. Excellent. So, Naveen, को लगाने दो. आगे. बंद हो गया. So now we will be discussing what is the reason that Government of India implemented this new tax in place of 17 taxes. What was the reasons? Why? Although I have told you in brief, but now we will discuss in details. What was the necessity? What went wrong with these 17 taxes? That we have to bring a new tax. Altogether new. Because when something is new, then it has to be learned by all people of the country. Everything new. Everybody has to learn the new things. Then why we should put ourselves into that much trouble? But the government discussed this issue for 15 years. Be careful. for 15 years. And after discussing 15 years, they reached to the conclusion that we should now shift to a single indirect tax called GST. So meaning thereby, the government could find out certain shortcomings, weaknesses of the previous system of taxes. In the previous systems, there must be certain shortcomings because of which now the government has decided to shift to GST. What are those shortcomings which we are going to discuss now? This this slide is before you, and it is written shortcomings of previous system. First point is compliance cost. Compliance cost was high due to large number of taxes. As I told you that 9 taxes of state government have been removed. 8 taxes of central government has been removed. Meaning thereby we have replaced 17 taxes. You can imagine if out of 17, if a businessman was covered even under 4 to 5 taxes, because every businessman was not covered under all taxes. Few businessmen were covered under entertainment tax, but the other was not covered. Certain are covered under luxury tax, others were not covered. But there are 3 taxes which were covered almost everybody, or most of the businessmen were covered by that. Those are VAT, central sales tax, excise duty, and service tax. These are the 4 types of taxes which almost all the businessmen, almost all, I'm not saying all, almost all were covered by at least these 4 types of taxes. Meaning thereby, if I am to comply with 4 types of taxes, so I need to take 4 registrations. I need to file returns under all the 4 taxes, for 4 registrations. I have to file the returns, I have to collect the tax, I have to pay the tax. Then thereafter, what I have to do? I had to get my assessment done. All the inspectors of all the 4 taxes may come to my premises anytime for checking. So meaning thereby, in place of that, if there is 1 tax, then I need to take 1 registration. Only 1 authority can come to me for checking. I need to pay tax only in 1 tax, file only 1 return, and get my assessment only under 1 act. Meaning thereby, if I was covered earlier by 3 taxes, now I am covered now by 1 tax. Therefore, my compliance cost should go down to 1/3. Earlier, it was 3 to 4 times. Meaning thereby, if I am having more number of tax, my compliance cost is high. And what is that compliance cost? Compliance cost means just collecting the tax from the consumer and paying it to the government. It is a wastage of money. I'm just collecting the money, tax from the consumer and paying it to the government. What I'm getting? What a businessman is getting out of it? Nothing. Only his compliance cost is there, because he has to maintain his books of accounts. He has to pay to the accountant. Then it has to be got audited. He has to pay to the chartered accountant. He has to do everything to file the returns, to get the registration, and extra. Means if the taxes number is more, then compliance cost is more. This is what public was telling to the government. You have so many taxes and its compliance cost is unnecessary tax on us, unnecessary cost on us. Therefore, this taxes should be reduced to 1. That has been done by the government. So this was the first shortcoming or first weakness of the indirect taxes levied prior to 1st of July. Second is administrative cost. As compliance cost is to be borne by the businessman, administrative cost is to be borne by the government of India or government of states, because they are to administer the tax. Means they have their officers who will grant registration, staff who will keep calculations, who will keep the records of all the assesses, what registration number is there, whether he is filing returns or not. Wherever he has not filed, they are to issue the notices. Then officers, then after their appellate authorities, then after tribunal, then after high courts, and then after. So many staff is to be maintained to administer more number of taxes. So if taxes are more, number of authorities have to be more. Number of persons who are to administer that law have to be more. So there was a very high administrative cost so far as government is concerned. And this was just a wastage of money. What for? Just to collect the tax. Government is to do that much. So if number of taxes are more, administrative cost is more. Therefore, government wanted that number of taxes should be reduced so that the wastage of money which is going to administrative cost, that should not be there and it should be reduced. So administrative cost, to see that all the taxes remains intact, administrative cost was high and therefore government wanted to reduce it. Third is complexities due to many rates and many taxes. Look, whenever rates are more and taxes are more, many taxes, many complexities, because in every tax there must be some complexity, and if there will be more taxes, more complexities, and if there are many taxes, many rates. Now look, prior to 1st July, VAT was there in the country, means there was no GST. So in place of that, on sale of goods, the VAT was levied. On sale of services, service tax was levied. So the rates in VAT were exempted, means zero. On exports, zero rated. Then on essential goods, 5%. Then general goods, 12.5%. And on luxury goods, 20%. So there were 5 rates. Now look, when there are 5, 6 rates, then the people always try to jump from higher rate to the lower rate. They always play game. And if the rates will be more, then your return form has to be lengthy. The return form has to be lengthy. It is difficult to understand. It is difficult to comply. Compliance cost increases and it creates problem for the administrator also. And due to large number of rates, more complexities arises. One person, the businessman say, no, I'm not covered in 12.5. My item should be taxable at 5%. The person who is in 20%, he will always try to come in 12.5%. So more rates and more taxes create complexities in the law, and therefore government wanted that complexities should be less. Then interpretation issues. The laws were such that it was difficult to find out in many cases whether the item is goods or item is service. There were many goods which we said these are goods. Government said no, it is a service. For example, leasing of goods. In case of leasing of goods, the VAT department used to say this is a supply of goods. The goods which you are giving on lease, it is a supply of goods. But the service tax department used to say no. You have supplied you have given the goods on lease. Therefore, leasing is a service tax activity and you cannot. So there was a fighting among us, the state and the center. State said it is my tax, center said it is my tax. So there were interpretation issues which were creating problem between the states and the center itself. Therefore, government wanted that these disputes should go away. There should not be any interpretation. We should make it clear in the GST law what are goods and what are services. Then comes tax base. This is all what I'm discussing with you are the shortcomings of the previous system, because of which we introduced, or government introduced, GST into the country from 1st of July. Then is tax base. Tax base was small because evasion was more. There was no control between the center and the states for a particular assessee. Suppose a particular person is dealing in a goods which are partially covered under VAT and partially covered under service tax. In that situation, the person used to get himself registered under VAT, but he was not getting registered under service tax. And since there was no cooperation between center and the state, it was not possible to catch hold of him. But now, government said, in GST, what we will do, it will be single tax both for the center as well as of the state. So now he will be covered over there. So whatever he was trying to get out of it, he will be covered and tax base will enhance. Then is tax evasion. There was no control on persons concerned because everything was done manually. The returns were filed manually. The assessments were done manually. Because of that, it was not possible to catch hold of the tax evasion. People used to get out of it. Therefore, government said, in GST, we will computerize everything. Everything will be online. Registration will be online. Assessment will be online. Filing of return will be online. Every activity which has to be done, it will be online activity, and there will be no chance for tax evasion. Then is corruption. This was the very biggest issue in the country. You know, few years back, there was a huge hue and cry in the country. What people were saying? India is the most corrupt country in the world. Why? Because officers of the government had got very vast powers and they have discretions to do a thing or not to do a thing. Whenever a businessman used to go for a registration into the office of a government of India or in the state government, what he said, sir, I want registration for this. Now the officer used to hold that registration application for days together because there was no check on him, there was no control on him. And he used to apply his discretion. Now that person will go to the department after 7 days, suppose, and he requests the officer concerned, sir, I have filed an application for registration. I want to carry on this cinema hall, or I want to start this hotel or restaurant, or I want to start this business. I have made an application to you for registration. It has not been dealt with. Okay. Let me see the application. He used to see and find out fault in them. Find out fault in them. He used to say, yeah, this is not proper. This is not proper. This is not proper. Okay, sir. Now you do one thing, bring all these papers, come in the next month, next week. So he used to tell him to come in the next week. So what will happen then? Please see, that person is to come next week with papers. But in a place like Delhi, in Delhi, suppose he is going to the sales tax officer after driving his car for 30 kilometers. Then he has reached there within 1.5 hours. There he has to wait for him for 1 hour. And then again he has to come back by driving his car for 1.5 hours. His whole day is gone. Then what he used to request the officer concerned? Sir, if I will go back, naturally my whole day is gone. You please do this work. Whatever you say, I will do it. This was the reason. Just to give facility to that person. Just to facilitate the registration. He used to say, pay me this much money, I will do it. So, this system of working was increasing corruption in the country. The public were shouting, making hue and cry that there is a huge corruption in the country. Not only Indian people, but the foreign people also, when they used to come to India to start some business, and the consultants tells them, look, this is the professional fee and these are the charges which we have to pay to the people, then they felt it very bad. Then what is this? We cannot pay that much. But the result was that there was no ease of doing business in India. So government wanted that we should cut down, we should put all these 16 taxes to rest, and we will come down with one tax. So 4 registrations reduced to 1 registration now. Even if corruption is there, then it can be only on 1 tax, not for 4 taxes. So at least corruption will come down by 25%, by 75%, and it will be left to 25% only. Although government is trying, he has computerized everything. He has fixed the dates in the computer itself. Now there is no discretion with the officer concerned. Therefore, at the lower level, the entire corruption will likely to be go away when GST is implemented in the country. So these are the reasons why. These are the weaknesses of our earlier tax. That is why we wanted, the government wanted that we should come to the GST. And next is, 1 minute. Yes. Next is, full ITC was not available. This is the major important issue and major important shortcoming of our previous tax system, that full ITC was not available. What is this ITC? Since you have not studied the indirect taxes in your earlier classes up to BCom, therefore this needs to be discussed in detail, and I will explain you what is ITC, why it was not fully available, what was the reason for that. But for that it will take time. Therefore what we will do it, we will repeat it with you today, whatever we have discussed. I want to know if anybody has not understood anything, he can ask me the questions today itself. Then we will come to the next class with this full ITC, because it will take another 15 to 20 minutes, and with the other shortcomings also. Then we will discuss tomorrow, but we will brief in 5 minutes whatever we have done so far. Yes. Everything is okay? Yes. Ashutosh.